Breaking news, Patrick Beverley is going to Israel. Who would have thought? Well, considering what happened in his last NBA game ever, it's not that shocking. But if anybody would have said he would have been in Israel, you would have been like, that's never going to happen because Patrick Beverley still had deals on the table from NBA teams, but he decides to go to Israel. Now, what might I be saying that made his last game memorable in a bad way? Well, in the last game of the season here for the Bucks, you're down 3-2, right? To the Indiana Pacers here, and you chuck a ball at a lady. Boom! He does that. And now, if you really check the context that is presented to us in this video, I don't know if they told him something. I don't know if this fan's telling him something or if he shouts something. But the ball's in the crowd. Pat Bev is asking for the ball. And this guy, soft little throw to Patrick Beverley, right? So we don't hear anything that's being said. But he's not launching the ball at Pat Bev, right? And in return, Pat Bev launches it and hits a woman viciously. That's absolutely insane and unacceptable to do to one of the fans that paid a lot of money. Unless something was said that was crazy or derogatory or racist, I don't see any reason to react like this. And then, they calm him down over here. Bobby Porter says, like, I understand, whatever's going on, but we got to stop this guy. He's heated. Look at that. And this could be, obviously, with the context that is presented to us, 3-2, you're down by 20. This is possibly your last NBA game. You think you're going to win a championship now that you're in Milwaukee. Giannis is hurt. Dame Doll is hurt, but playing hurt. You're basically eliminated. That is frustration being thrown back. And obviously, if he's being heckled, in a bad way, I'm assuming that, Giannis can hear, Damian Lillard can hear, whoever's here, Middleton, someone here, or one of these employees for the Bucks in the back would hear and call security to kick him out. We've seen multiple times, Westbrook or LeBron James kick out fans that have said racist remarks. And, if one of these employees saw, they probably would have alerted security to kick him out, but instead Pat Bev just does that, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, with the context, it's kind of a bad look, and obviously a fine and suspension was coming through, so he decides to go overseas to avoid it. But let's look at this retrospect 2019 when Pat Bev said something crazy to Steph Curry. He said, you had the last 5 years, your little super team, but the next 5 are mine. He was so hyped that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were in the Clippers, and you know what ends up happening? It's one of the worst super teams to ever exist because Kawhi Leonard, when needed, vanishes, He's like the Avatar, right? When the world needed him most, boom, he's gone. He's injured. Look at the bench. Yeah, it's Kawhi Leonard. Paul George, on the other hand, was putting some historically bad playoff performances, was choking 3-1 leads, was injured when needed as well at times. It was a historically bad super team going on. Patrick Beverley ends up getting, shipped off before these 5 years even happen, gets bounced around in the league, ends up at Milwaukee, and then in his 5th year, after the 5 years are done, he goes overseas to a team in Israel. While Steph Curry, on the other hand, obviously the Warriors have had some losing seasons, but in 2022 ends up winning his championship. This is his career year in 2022 where he leads the Warriors without Kevin Durant to a championship, gets finals MVP, and has a historical run in those playoffs. Now, obviously Steph Curry had those 5 years over Pat Bev. It's not even comparison because Curry ends up being, arguably the greatest point guard of all time, while Patrick Beverley is now going to be packed up to Israel. And the crazy part is, he was given veteran minimum contracts from the Detroit Pistons and the Houston Rockets. My man had a decision between the Detroit Pistons and Israel and said, nah, I'm not going to go to the Pistons and die out for 10 wins a season. I'd rather go to Israel. That shows where the Detroit Pistons organization is when you've got somebody here choosing an Israeli team instead of the Detroit Pistons. So they've got to do some, rebuilding, acquiring more talent than just Cade Cunningham. I understand there's that trendy little thing about Montverde 2020 where it's like Cade and him. Well, Cade and him had Scotty Barnes, who was a Rookie of the Year. So do better if Patrick Beverley prefers to go overseas to Israel than to Detroit. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos, and leave a comment down below. Who do you think won that debate from 2019, 5 years later? Steph Curry or Pat Bev? And if you say Pat Bev, you are trolling.